Are you ready, Bender?
Yeah.
Are you guys ready? All right. Hey, we're not going to fiddle fart around anymore. We are back. This time, it's Bender and I sitting here with what I think, actually I know, is a PC Bombcast record for space in between appearances. So it's 4 years, 3 weeks. That's 150 episodes since Richie Darling here has been on that podcast before. You were on episode 72, and this is now 222. And that episode was so rough and raw that he had to bring backup to come over this time. He had to bring a partner with him. And I apologize. Introduce yourself to everybody.
My name's Tim Perry.
Tim Perry. Mm-hmm. So, we'll get into it in a second. So Tim and Richie are here. And now, the last time you came on, Richie, you, of course, Bender. I said Bender, but everybody knows him. The last time you were on, we talked specifically about the Beard and Mustache Club.
Yes, and I brought a whole lot to that topic because everyone knows I can't grow one.
Yeah, maybe the least qualified person in the greater metro area to talk about beards and mustaches. But you mentioned at the time, and I think you showed me at the time, was it Rampage Kitty?
Sure.
Yeah, so we talked about it. So the groundworks for talking video games, which is what we're going to talk about today, is specifically Dragon Hunters. That was, you had already started. You were knee-deep in video game design at that point.
I was just getting started personally with video game production. Tim's been doing it a little while longer than me, but Rampage Kitty was, that was a lot of fun.
Rampage Kitty, I think, for me, was very much the cute kitten version of Katamari Dynasty. You had to just go around and destroy shit on a kitchen table.
Yes.
So that's like the only setup you need. But so this time, we're here talking about Dragon Hunters, and what's the name of the game studio that you guys did on this?
It's Sigonheart Games.
Sigonheart, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And that stems from my old EverQuest name. I used to play video games, online games throughout the years, and I just kind of kept the same character name, and my friends know me by that. So.
Well, the first question I was going to ask, and I think you answered it a lot with that, but who was the D&D fan that inspired this growing up?
Oh, that was definitely me.
And then obviously the for those that, all right, we do have some young listeners, but for those that don't know old school online gaming, EverQuest is the granddaddy of fantasy-based online gaming. EverQuest was the first game that people made money on with shops. People stole from people. EverQuest started it all. EverQuest taught us everything. So that was so you've been into online gaming since then, I'm guessing.
That's correct.
And that's where the name of your character was, you said?
Yes.
What character was it?
I started a dwarf paladin, so I've always kind of liked dwarves, and we use dwarves in our game Dragon Hunter here, and just always kind of like that character and like that fantasy realm. So
one thing I want to ask you, Richie, and you guys. So you were not with him on Rampage Kitty then?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you were.
Yeah.
You were. You guys have been together since then. What got you into wanting to design games and go from Rampage Kitty to what is, just from the trailer, which we'll get into the trailer in a little bit, a much more complex game?
Well, it actually started when I was working at a corporate job, and I decided I wanted to shift gears, and I was doing programming every day, and started learning how to do video games, and so I moved back up to St. Louis.
You're a programmer by trade then?
Yes, I went to college for it. Mm-hmm. Went up to UMSL, actually.
Okay.
And me and Richie went to college together, too.
Yeah, me too. Cool.
He was doing a marketing business, and I was doing computer programming.
Is that where you guys met? Or have you known each other for free?
Well, we didn't meet there, but I was currently at UMSL when we met. Yeah.
Okay.
And Timmy was actually in Mineral Area College on
down in Farmington doing my 2 years there.
Okay, and then
playing basketball, is that what you said?
Yeah,
sure.
Oh, you're a basketball guy. Awesome. Point guard?
Wingman.
Wingman. Okay. Like the shooting guard or a small forward shooting.
Yeah, whenever I could.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, you had to have a mutual love for gaming
sure.
and stuff like that.
Sure.
But so you just on a whim were like, I'm doing this computer programming. It's not fulfilling for me. I'm just going to design video games.
Yeah, and it actually started back in 2005. Honestly, that's actually about when Richie and I met, and there's an earlier version of this when I didn't know what I was doing, but I got a 2D version of this game working, and it just kind of because this original game was designed in 2001 by Scott Mayo.
I was going to ask you.
That was back
so,
when you sat in a room and threw some dice
so
down.
it started.
And there was one
he was
guy
the
in
D&D
charge.
guy.
Yeah, well, you see my corner over there. That's my old school dice corner. That little metal container up at the top is filled with dice,
nice.
And it's not small. So who is Scott Mayo?
So Scott Mayo was the technology coordinator at Bloomfield High School, and when I was in high school from 2000 to 2004, my last couple years I was able to get out of a couple classrooms and go assist him for 2 years, kind of as like an extra credit kind of thing. And so I would help him maintain computers and build. That's where I started learning how about computers and how to build them and how to maintenance them. And then on the weekends, he was a big Dungeons and Dragons fan, fantasy guy. So on the weekends, I'd go over his house and we'd play 2.0 Dungeons and Dragons. And then one night when we got done, he showed us this game he was working on.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Dragon's Lair then.
Which couldn't be done because Dragon's Lair was knee-deep
so
into a thing
when
already.
we decided, I'm like, we got to change the name. And so, we played it a couple nights, and I just always liked it. And once I started learning how to program in college, I was like, let me see if I can do this game. And came up with a small version of it, but then went on to do different things, music, for about 10 to 15 years. And the past few years, I'm still doing computer programming and still gaining all these skills. And, then Unity came out, and then it was kind of...
What's Unity?
Unity's a 3D physics engine.
Okay.
So it's advanced physics engine, and it's a software that you can use, drop 3D models in, program and move them around.
If you ever heard Unreal, it's like
Yeah.
that.
That's what I was going to say.
That.
Is that what I didn't...
Yeah.
I've
It's
heard
the
that
other
in
one.
reference with Unreal.
Unreal and Unity are the two industry standard gaming engines that most games are made on.
It's amazing to me
Yeah.
as a guy that I certainly don't do online gaming anymore very much, with the exception of when I play sometimes with my daughter. But when I was in college, obviously I'm 43, so online gaming has grown with me,
Mm-hmm.
But when it went from Doom to Rise of the Triad, then it went to Unreal. It's amazing how big and advanced Unreal got and how much it changed the entire industry forever.
Well, the big AAA companies typically use Unreal, and the smaller companies and independent developers use Unity.
Okay.
Okay.
Is
So
that because it's more open source, or is it?
They're both
Just cheaper.
kind of open source.
Oh,
they're proprietary, but you have a certain license agreement when you agree to make it. Like they want a cut of the game, depending on how much money you make on it. So.
Well, of course they do.
So,
Yeah.
So moving forward, so he showed me this game, and in college, when I met him, I came up with the first version, and then years later, when we started Rampage Kitty, when I moved back from Jackson, Missouri, back to St. Louis, and it's like, hey, Richie, I got this new skill. We can actually make video games now. So the thought of Rampage Kitty was actually kind of a starter game for us. I'm like, let's see if we can start a game, finish it, put it out there.
And that was Android only?
That was Android only.
Okay. Is that because that was an easier one to deal with?
Not necessarily. We kind of wanted to focus on phone apps at first, and then I just don't really like phone games.
Well, I mean, like as opposed to Android and iOS, was it just easier to do Android?
I'm a Microsoft guy.
Okay.
So yes, you have to have a Mac to develop.
Android,
yeah. So if you don't have one, you got to export it.
What a bunch of bullshit. Now, if you have a Mac, you can easily port it over to a PC, right?
I'm not sure. I doubt it.
Not sure about that either. Maybe with certain emulators and stuff, but if you're running video games, I mean, you're going to want everything running pretty smooth.
I'm just betting Mac is conceited enough to not allow them to port in, only port out. That's what I mean.
You have to have a proprietary license agreement with them, and they have to test your game on their systems before they'll even publish it. And it's an expensive process. It takes a while.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, there goes our making our apps in the future. We just
PC publishing is much more competitively open sourced.
Well, obviously we've got a lot of questions we could talk. I think you guys, I know you said you were going to bring cameras, but I guess I misunderstood in a good way that you were bringing the actual game on this big a monitor. So I'm all for continuing the conversation while we play the game. If you want to jump into the game, let's absolutely do it.
So you want me to screen record?
Run the screen recorder, and then we'll edit it in the multicam.
I've never done Dungeons and Dragons or any of that stuff.
You've played Munchkin. Munchkin's about as fancy as it's got for him.
Yeah.
Settlers of Catan.
He played one of our favorite episodes we've ever done on this show. Is he did play Drunk Quest, which is essentially Dungeons and Dragons, where all damage is dealt to you by taking a drink.
Yeah.
And the four of us
took 2 hours. We drank like 40 beers.
The four of us drank 43 beers in an hour and 40 minutes, and that was my wife, the Flop, our co-host Silver Badger, and him, and that was. And we could replay it. It's only supposed to be a 30-minute game, and it was the first time we'd ever played it, so we drug it out.
Nice.
I don't anticipate this going quite as badly
Yeah.
as that did.
And his wife, we had to drag her in kicking and screaming to play, and then she was the most adamant about playing again after that.
Yeah, and I had just got this new soundboard, and as I was moving it upstairs, I accidentally hit the sound effects, so it sounded like we were talking in a dungeon, which actually kind of worked for the atmosphere, the ambiance of the game.
Do that for the rest of the show.
Extra deep reverb.
So we're looking at it on your Steam library, which is going to be the primary source, and is that the way to get the game will be Steam.
Yep. We're releasing it in 2 weeks from yesterday, so April 9th.
So as you hear this, it'll be essentially a week from when this is released.
I'm not connected there, and I can't show you the store page, but this is actually my library of games, and since I'm the developer, it's already installed, so we can actually see that it's actually there in the library of games. So
and that'll
Steam
be
has
Dragon
accepted
Hunters
this.
again. I'll emphasize that for
Yes,
people
sir.
as well.
With an S.
With an S. Yeah, no Z.
No.
There is actually another Dragon Hunter on there. It's
I figured.
smaller little
Yeah,
game.
sound. Make sure we got some sound because we did the soundtrack.
Well,
man.
I
It's
was
like, you wanna
well.
hear it?
So the questions as we're getting into the game, as it's loading up, I was going to ask you. One, being musicians as well as a trade, I'm guessing all the sound effects and music all came from you guys.
Yeah, Foley and sound and music and all that. I mean, but I think we might have like one stock song in there, but all the rest of the songs are
Nice.
So, what about art and design when it comes to the look of the game?
me and Tim. I mean, and it's based on directly on the
everything.
original board game, but like brought up with to the newer standard of graphics.
No,
We call it an adaptive.
When you say original
version.
board game, do you
Okay.
mean like is Dragon Hunters its own
With
board
the
game?
Scott
or do you
Mayo.
mean-
This guy,
Mayo.
Scott Mayo,
Scott
in
Mayo's
2001,
board
he
game.
had a
Okay.
little box with little
Yeah.
board squares that you would set down and move your guy
Roll
around
dice.
there.
No,
Right,
it's-
roll the dice and everything. Yeah.
Did he make the game?
Yep.
yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah.
I didn't put those two together. I'm
Hey,
Hey
sorry.
Bender, thanks for coming to the podcast. Now, when it comes to the art, because
Sure.
I know you guys don't know, but I was an art major in
Okay.
school, and I do drawing a lot. And so, do either of you fancy yourself artists as in drawing? You do, okay.
Okay.
I was say, I think your Facebook page still says I draw things, or is that you? Or
It might
Might,
say
yeah.
I thought I deleted that.
I
He did. It's a different guy who also has a massive
beard. Oh,
'Cause
okay.
when we were doing the episode, he's like, look these guys up, and I was like, I can't find their Facebook page or your Facebook page, but there is another guy with your
in St. Louis.
yeah in St.
And
Louis.
I think I'm friends with him because he probably tricked me that it was you.
No, he's got a
might
massive
have
beard, and he
been
does
back
draw
then.
things. He's a decent artist.
Yeah, I looked at it, and it's red too.
We should
What-
get you guys
what
on.
kind
We
of
should
art
give
is
you-
it? What kind of
It's
art?
comic book style art.
Oh yeah, okay, so not me then.
He is,
We should get him on
well,
here.
he's just
and then you
doing
guys can hang
portraits
out.
and things is all he's doing, and is his
I
face.
thought he had comic book art.
Yeah.
in
Portrait's my deal.
Yeah.
If you've seen portraits, that's my.
That's
deal.
him.
I think that's you. I think it's maybe, but even if the page is gone, I think the people that were friends can still see it,
Yeah, you might be right.
and that's what it. That's you.
Sometimes,
like,
every
there's
once in
no-
a while, somebody hacks your account, and then all of a sudden it's open again.
Well, no,
Yeah,
there
I
hasn't. There's not a new post on it for a long time. But I was like, "There's no way if that guy is saying he's you, that piece of shit has stole your identity." Is what he did. But anyway, so you
He
do
hasn't
all
been
the,
messaging me, so
yeah.
Yeah, here's the other Richie Darling that's from St. Louis on Facebook. He also has a massive beard. I'm like, oh, this is the guy. And I'm like, no.
Oh, that guy's name is Richie Darling.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Interesting. He'll never get Richie Darling.
And he's also an
Yeah.
he's also an
worth
artist.
$1,000.
Well,
on the domain.
that's a good point to bring up. The easiest way to see all of the stuff you do is richiedarling.com.
Absolutely,
Spelled
yeah.
exactly like you would think it sounds. But anyway, so we're into the game. You just went in through your the way people will go to access it, and it's 1 to 4 players, right?
Yeah, it focused, because it was a sit-around tabletop board game, so it focused on player versus player.
And I'll be honest with you, my very favorite type of video games, whether it's phone, whether it's platform, whether it's computer, are board game emulators. That's
Yeah.
my favorite
Great.
because
Great.
I love board games.
And
And
here,
I've
we
never
want to
played one.
Yeah.
And we want to focus with our company on co-op and family-oriented games because
Yeah.
they're always just more fun when you can have somebody else play along with you, even
Yeah.
in your room or across the country.
Eventually,
So
we'll do the online multiplayer. We're
We're
working on
heavy-
it now,
yeah,
but
heavy
it's-
deep in it.
For right now, it's
Well, how long have you been programming, designing this game?
This game's about a year and 2 months on this game alone.
Just you
Okay.
two? Just you two
Well,
doing it?
and I'll be honest with
Wow.
you, I thought you were going to tell me 10 years.
Yeah, I
so-
thought it was going to be way worse.
Since Rampage Kitty, 5 years, like just kind of building up all the skills. And we have this one game called Last Kingdom of Dwarves. We have a lot of work into. We have another one. We can get into.
Yeah, I
space
saw
game,
that you
so
didn't release that, but there is
we're going to go
pictures
back
of stuff
to it
on
with
it.
better resources and
Now,
so, yeah.
are you, now because Scott Mayo did the original design on this, did you guys, how much of the actual game mechanics did you work on, or is it just all directly from what he did?
It's he had the rules on a piece of paper, so I just applied the rules of this.
Because for those that don't know, that when it comes to making role-playing games, battle like where you have damage, where you have probability, that's the hardest part. Because that's math, and it's chaos math in some instances. So it's awesome that... Because that when you said you had the game, I was like, God bless, there's no way that they haven't been working on this forever. I mean,
So what happened to that guy?
He's still around, and we talk to him all the time. He's still down in Bloomfield, and he has, he's also a farmer, and he's an older gentleman. I think he's in his early 50s.
Now, is he excited about this?
Yeah, he's really excited. He's really busy doing his other things, so he kind of just giving us the freedom.
He just gave you the blessing to do. That's awesome, man.
He'd just be happy to have a game out there, and
that's pretty cool. That's a cool
start.
legacy to have.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay,
You and walk us in, talk us in, however you want to do.
Yeah, let's do it. So I'm just in settings here. I turn the music down a little bit. So you can use both joysticks, Xbox-style joysticks, gamepads, or the keyboard and mouse. Since we're 4-player, we're going to just go ahead and hit start game and use all the controllers. So the objective of the game is to go around the boards, defeat monsters, use gold to level up.
Looting essentially.
Leveling up. Each dungeon level has a guardian, so you have to defeat that guardian to get access to the next level.
Okay.
There's 3 of them, and once you defeat the third one, you can access the dragon. And whoever defeats the dragon first wins.
Okay.
So
you said there's 50 different monsters?
There's about over 30 different monsters.
Okay, I couldn't remember the trailer.
30 murderous monsters.
I did watch the trailer like 4 times.
Oh, well, you bring that up, Bender. That's funny because Bender, for the first thing Bender asked, he goes, I watched the trailer. Is it supposed to be slapstick? I said, absolutely.
Yeah. It's a spoof off like 90s or...
And that's what I said, too. And I said, no one makes that kind of a commercial without intent. And I loved it.
Well, just real quick here, we'll get into it. If you're using 2 or more joysticks, it's automatically going to detect that, and so it's going to ask you to assign this. So what we do here, so since you chose it first, you're first player now.
Okay.
So whoever wants to go second.
Player 2, that's me.
Second.
I didn't mean to jump the gun and be player.
Nope, you're fine.
It'd be the other X. Yeah, you're all over the place, Bender.
Let me see here.
Yeah, he did it.
We got it figured out.
Well, he's dyslexic. He reads X.
I'm an Xbox guy.
So here's character selection. You get 4 choices. You get the cleric, you get the fighter, you can get a thief, or you can get a wizard.
All right. Well, in video games, I always play fighters, but for the sake of role-playing games aspect, I love thieves. So
all right.
That's me.
So you chose a thief, player 1. You're going to be the thief, so Richie gets to choose second. We decided to switch to a female character thief just because Richie's daughter was like, where's the female character?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have one. All right. I'll do the cleric.
All right, I will play the wizard. And each of them start out with different abilities, as you would know if you're...
And that's up top, yeah.
Yep.
So you're a handsome wizard?
Mm-hmm.
Is it modeled on you?
So we got the classic... loading screen that gives you tips. That's what a lot of standard games are doing now.
Yeah. So, oh, that's awesome. So the music in the background, is that Friends doing the singing for you and stuff?
No, that was you? That first song was Melanie, my girlfriend Melanie.
Okay, I was going to say, that sounded like a woman's what I meant. Oh, yeah, the voices, yeah.
So let's just take a look at the gamepad real quick. So your joystick here will move your camera around. Okay. And your right and left bumper buttons up on top here will do your camera view. So if you want to zoom out.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
So you can even zoom out even more if you wanted to.
Oh, because eventually there'll be boards next to it. I've seen that. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So let's just hit start real quick, and then go down to info. So each player has a turn or a round. So this is the turn, the actions during that turn, the order of precedence. So during your turn, you can use potions or items. Then you decide if you want to roll movement or end turn. Okay. So usually you'll roll movement, but if you want to end turn on your movement, you can heal all the way up. So you sacrifice a turn to heal.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
It's kind of
Bender's going to be ending turns early.
Yep. It's right out of the gate.
So after you roll, you move around to different tile pieces. Each of them represent different items. So if you land on a monster tile, your movement ends and you must enter combat.
Like that?
So, but if you land on an item, throne, chest, or door tile, you may draw the card, or you can continue movement over it. So you can go past them. If you land on one of those cards, you can draw it, but that will end your movement. After drawing a non-monster card, you must end your turn.
We try to make it intuitive as you go, too. It's
Yeah.
Okay.
like-
No, I appreciate you reading
Yeah.
it. And here's the deal.
Some people don't know.
No,
at
I'm
all.
going to not
I don't know
remember
either.
any of that. I'm just going to fly by the seat. But I'm going to do that for the purposes of the podcast.
Sure.
Because that's going to be way more fun. But I appreciate the breaking it down
Sure.
for me.
Well,
later.
let's just go ahead and let's just get going then.
All right,
So here's your commands
Like
down
the
here.
guitar riff.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
roll
different.
move.
Got it.
open store. All right, I'm going to roll move then. Yeah.
All right. Then you just hit A again, and this is no behind the scenes action. It's real physics of the
Yeah.
dice.
So can you change dice color?
The
Not yet?
the players' dice are green, and the enemies are red. Which
okay. So
Richie
now-
actually made.
Now I've got 5. So is it telling me where I can go
You can go
automatically?
anywhere you like.
So these are the
Okay.
paths.
Okay.
All right. So
So
those are monsters.
These are monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why not? You got a 5.
Go right into it.
Yeah.
Engaged in combat.
Level 1 monster card. I'm guessing that's good.
So here's the monster stats. So part of this game is strategy. You get to know the
Yeah,
stats. So
right.
so these are the stats. They're attack roll, and like in Dungeons and Dragons, you have to roll for attack.
Right.
And if you hit them, then you get to roll for damage.
Now, are you guys using the gamut of dice from D20 all the way down to D4?
We just use D6 and
Just
D4.
D6 and D4.
Okay.
He
Still
did.
cool.
He
Still
did have
cool.
up to D12, but he just modded it down to those
Which
two
makes
dice.
it easier
So,
too.
yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go. Well, I'm a thief, so you would think I would sneak attack him or something, but I'm gonna go balls into the combat with a melee attack. Oh,
You give today.
yeah. Well, Bender, I was timing myself. It's got to be good. It's got to be good. It's high. Come on.
Hit with roll 5.
1, 4.
Yeah. Son of a
So
bitch.
he's
He's got 2 dice.
He's
Never a
2?
good thing. Oh, this is a kobold. Okay.
Shaman.
Yeah.
So he's got 2 spells left, so you know he's going to roll 2d6. And it's random if he casts the spells or not.
So my magic roll, it says, is 0d6 plus
You don't have
21.
anything yet.
Okay. So I am melee attack is all I have an option at. Ah, son of a
How do
bitch.
you get 2 magic rolls?
Okay, I still landed.
So if you want to roll, you got to get magic power, which
Okay.
You get from rewards or you can buy it.
Items and
Okay.
things of that nature. Well, I just got smoked.
And now you're gone.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing.
Well,
Thief's turn has ended.
Exactly.
yeah.
It is the fighter's turn.
It can be
Just
tough.
go ahead and roll.
So each level randoms, you have a chance to flee too. So that's part of the strategy.
I didn't want to flee. So am I now? Look at, but am I dead?
In combat.
Nah, you'll come right back.
At the end
Okay,
of your
cool.
turn, you restart at the end.
Respawn.
And you
Okay.
lose some gold, but since you
I
didn't
get
have
the
any,
extra dice because I'm a fighter.
Oh, I
Oh.
should. Yeah. Now I'm mad. And you're fighting a giant snake.
The fighter has defeated.
Unbelievable.
Just out of the gate. Nice.
now,
I really like the
whose
guitar riffs.
voice?
This is
Whose
great.
voice is doing the? That's you. I can tell.
very
Yeah.
Gauntlet. If you ever played Gauntlet,
Oh,
and
yeah,
Scott
yeah.
loves it. So we have a very
Okay,
Gauntlet.
so you fight, then you move forward. Do you keep
Fighter's turn
going,
has
or
ended.
So if
Okay.
you defeat the monster in combat, you
Finish
get
your
one
move.
bonus move.
Oh, okay.
So it's really a really good trick is to see that's an item. That's an item card there.
So beat the monster and then go up towards that.
Yeah.
Ah, clever.
I was
like
just
it.
letting you jump in.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not trying to
I
tell you
like
too
what
much.
you did. I'm sorry, I get over anxious when it comes to board
I like
games. You see my board game section over here.
I did.
It's silly. My wife
get-
hates it because there's probably 12 games I've
getting
kickstarted
2
over there,
moves?
You can move 2 squares.
and if you have to play them,
so like?
Unless you hit a monster card.
That's great.
Oh, okay.
So the ones that are highlighted there.
So the
with
door actually lets
spots,
you
they're all-
open up other boards.
oh, okay. So he would go to a different board altogether. That's awesome.
And you can choose
And
them.
you
You
can
can
choose which
rotate.
board, and you can rotate that board.
So if you
Oh.
kill,
You're fighting a rat.
yeah.
And the name of it is a rat. It's not
It should be
the
the
rat,
rat.
but I like a rat. I like. If you ever watch, you guys obviously have seen Fight Club, right? You never call it your dildo, but a dildo. Well, you just made that rat your bitch.
Murdered that thing. I like
Alright.
my hammer.
I feel like Indiana Jones. I chose poorly.
Yeah,
So
a bonus move.
you get a bonus move.
You go get that
one.
sword, dude. Don't even think about it.
So
baby.
this is a game. So when you're actually playing, you actually draw a card. So like each.
Yeah. This is
So we have it implemented actually the cards.
Oh.
now. Did you had to supply all the card art?
So
and
before you
stuff?
stop, now you got a magic gem. So I want to point out the magic gems allow you to increase your armor. So
Okay.
you pretty much like socket. You socket them.
Oh, okay.
So if you hit
Final
your
Fantasy VII vernacular.
if you hit your start menu here, or sorry, this other one here, the select,
Select.
and you can put it in your armor, shield, or weapon. You have one magic gem.
Give it
So-
to your
So-
fallen ally.
So now you got one defense,
Yeah.
and this is your inventory here.
Mhm.
And here's where you can see each character's abilities and restrictions. So
Okay.
it's really good to know. This is
Oh,
what,
immune to
this
poisons,
is what
green
diversifies
dragon
the classes.
Okay.
You're immune to green dragon breath because you're a racist. Red dragon breath hurts you.
Just like me in real life.
Yeah.
Huge racist.
You're the only person that can make that joke because you have a mixed son. So you're like, yeah, I'm the only one that can do that. So.
Now what? Select?
You just
Get
back out of that,
that.
and then
Okay.
just your last action.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm already jealous.
So you got to enter.
Turn has ended.
So, if I defeat a monster, like you defeated that first monster, if I would have moved, can I move to that same space that you were in, and there wouldn't be a monster there now?
Correct.
Gotcha.
And you
Okay.
can tell by that spike. That
Yeah,
means it hasn't
okay.
been cleared yet.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
You could have moved to where that dead body is.
Yeah, but then I had to fight
stomp
whatever that
all
thing
over
was that you fought.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sure
I would at least I would feel avenged.
I'm gonna show you real quick. So this is the inn that you start on. There's a couple other ones. So when you gather enough gold up here, you use gold to level up. So you come back to the inn. So I'm gonna hit X to open the store, and you can see. So to get to level 2, there's a total of 15 levels.
Mm-hmm.
The prices scale on everything. So,
Okay.
So here's where you buy all your items. I won't go into much more detail. It's
Yeah.
the store. All right, I'm gonna hit back, and then real quick, you have your utilities belt here.
Very Batman like.
That's how you use your items, basically.
Oh, okay.
You can only use these at certain things at the beginning of your turn or during combat. For
So
instance.
so would I before I move to
Yeah.
a monster square, I would want to potion the attack. I would use.
You would use it during combat.
Oh, okay, during
Because
combat.
it lasts
okay.
for 2 combat
Okay,
rounds.
okay.
And it'll
So
tell
get
you
the
that.
first move.
You
can
don't
use it
have
right
to
away.
ready it.
See if I try to use it.
Yeah,
it'll
you don't
say-
have to ready it before
Correct,
you move.
correct.
You actually in combat attack. Okay. Now, so when you design a game, obviously you got to work out all the bugs and stuff before you go to market and stuff. But is there going to? Do you guys? I know it's one of the dumbest questions to ask somebody that's just released something that they've put a lot of their time into. But do you already anticipate upgrades or
Oh yeah,
enhancements? Or
we're actually releasing it
Constantly,
as
yeah.
early access, and here's why: because we have full version, local, offline, multiplayer, co-op,
Yeah.
and single player. But we want to implement online play, and so that's why we're offering early access now. That we're promising online private server rooms, possibly matchmaking, random matchmaking.
Okay.
But definitely private. We're already connecting to each other's computers, so we're, and then
Awesome.
possibly two
Confident
new,
we'll be able to make it work. At some
Yeah.
point.
and possibly 2 new levels with 2 new dragons.
Awesome.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Do you have like a in gold like a time frame for that?
6 to 12 months.
Okay.
And and honestly, that I know how video games, MMOs, and online play works right now. Is if you get a full year out of the life of your popularity of your game, you're good. And one way you hang them is making those
Exactly.
upgrades
Yeah.
last over that amount of time.
And that's
Now,
why we're promising them that. Yeah.
and I didn't ask, but what's the price point going to be for them?
$19.99,
Yeah.
and there's not going to be any changes. So it's just
Awesome.
you buy it once. That's helped us support us. We've been in this for 5 years.
Yeah.
You're on this game. Just a little bit of support, and we're just going to keep working.
Well, we're gonna. Well, I mean, this goes without saying. You obviously came to my studio to record an episode. We're gonna, I'll support the shit out of it. I'm gonna talk about it every pre-roll and every episode coming out too.
Yeah.
So you can see I opened up another board, and there's
Yeah.
each level. This is level 1, the green ones, and there's about 6 to 7 boards. And it's part of the strategy is you can rotate them and place them how you want. So each game
Oh,
is
okay.
dynamically, strategically going to lay out differently.
And that
every game you
will
play.
for those that can't see yet, obviously people will be able to go to the trailer and look at stuff by the time this airs. But for those that don't see, essentially you're a square map with a lot of individual tiles on that square to move to, where they're diagonally forward, left, right, things of that nature, north, south, east, west, whatnot. So if you can place it how you want, the advantage there is there might be like an item right out of the gate, so you move it to the side that you want to move it to.
Exactly.
And our wizard is fighting a skeleton.
And you said those are completely randomly generated, the boards are? Or is there X amount of boards?
There's X amount of boards. There's 7 for level 1, 6 for 2 and 3. And
Oh.
Based
there's
on the
others.
original boards that Scott designed.
Yeah, but because of, and well, I'm sure
But you can
Scott put
rotate 'em.
math into it. There's the variations of how you get those and whatnot are
Yes,
just
so.
it's asked. I mean, your bottom line, if they do get this, it's going to be 10 years of play before you duplicate a game by just coming to, I mean, it's going to take a lot of playing to where you feel like you've played the same game twice.
Right.
Yeah.
So, is there? And I've never played games like this before, so I'm kind of new. Is there an advantage to adding extra boards, or is there more of an advantage? Like, what's the difference between that or going all the way through the board that you're like the first tile that we were on?
All the monsters are going to clear, and so you have to expand because once you clear, this thing goes away and you can't access the board again.
Tell you what, I'm not going to do. I'm not going to go at that damn monster because apparently I'm not.
Might be a different one this time.
Yeah, well. I don't need one higher than level 1.
So if you go back into that same square, it'll be a different. It could be a different monster. Okay,
sure.
Cool.
Yep, it randoms. Yep, it's random.
Nice.
Okay, so I went here, but I can come up here, right?
Yep. And I'm still working. You can still trigger that if you wanted to.
What's that? Just go to here?
If you wanted to, yeah. It just didn't show the little helper thing.
Okay.
It's working on that.
Are all the? Is this ready to roll? I guess. Like,
so you only have one movement. So that's the end of your
Yeah. I like your I know it's a silly little thing, but your movement animation looks great. I mean, they just look as a little just.
I know you said it's releasing next week, but are there any other
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Are there any little bugs next week? A week from when this gets released. Hit B, Jeremy.
Oh, I'm done. Sorry.
You guys, is it basically ready to roll? Are there any
it's ready to roll. We there's always little bugs, little knickknacks.
Sometimes a sequence of events that you can't predict.
I can tell you what's not a bug.
A little weird, but
here's what's not a bug: the epic feeling you get from ending your turn when you say the thief's turn is ending.
Yeah,
that's the most satisfying ending of your turn.
Holy
you're
shit.
done, dude.
That is
you're done. That is a hobgoblin fighter, roughly 16 times your size. It's almost me versus you.
Yeah.
And hobgoblins can grow a beard. Your character, a female, can't grow a beard. It's almost like real life.
I was gonna pick her, man. That's not my.
Oh, it's not Bender. Yeah, sorry. Damn it. My joke way better.
Died.
Bender. Yeah. Oh.
So you get gold by defeating
monsters and drawing treasure cards.
Okay.
So there's an item card, which is that one you drew, which is the arm, and there's a chest card, which draws an item card and a gold card.
Okay.
I was so focused to jump headlong into combat a while ago, I didn't even look up at the top to see the health bar.
Yeah, I just noticed it too.
Had I looked up, maybe, and you know what? I'm blaming you guys for bringing the 20-foot monitor in here because I couldn't see everything at once. But I would have made me red. Oh, you just fucked that hobgoblin up.
Man, I guess size doesn't mean anything.
And you can't use that.
Because I'm a fighter.
Yeah, okay. Now, is there trading amongst you? Is that something?
Why don't you explain it?
Yeah.
There's no trading amongst characters, but you can steal if you're the thief, or if you have the gloves of stealing by chance, you can steal an item from a fellow player or from a monster that you're fighting.
So you have to be close, or
you got to be on the same tile.
Okay.
Yeah. Now this is the throne, and the throne gives you unpredictable.
It can be randomized.
It's a randomized card, yeah. So it could be a level gain, or it could take a level, or it could give you 100 gold, or it could take away part of your strength.
Okay.
So I'm going to do that right now. I got 100 gold.
I love the little guitar riffs after everything you do.
Yeah.
That was me.
How long would you say a
average
game is going to last you?
You can just sit and keep playing it if you want, all the way to the end. And you could.
So it's a deep game.
Yeah.
If there's 4 players, yes. If you're playing single player, we do offer 1-player mode because it's a video game and people want that. So you have free movement, but it goes a little bit faster.
Well, I'll play the shit out of it on 1 player. Is what I'll do. And I can't wait. Until you guys actually have it to where we can play over online. Because my best friend in the whole world, Big D, who just texted me a while ago, he is the biggest video game, role-playing game guy I know, and board game guy, and he'll eat the shit out of this, knowing that I know someone who designed it. So he'll be one of your early adopters.
Great.
Well, look at that. That's unbelievable.
That's a good one. Now you got another magic gem, so
So then I hit select.
I played.
You got another magic power, so your dice went up. Every odd number, you get an extra D6, die 6. So now you're rolling 2D6 plus 21. So magic's really powerful. It helps you get an advantage right off the bat for the casters.
Like I said, I've never played it. What does 2D mean?
2D6, 2 dice.
2 dice. Okay, so I got an extra die now.
Yeah.
Cool.
The level of experience on board game playing between me and Bender it's not even comparable. I've achieved epic level of gaming, whereas Bender would be a noob, and I feel like I am sucking ass right now after 2 turns.
Yeah, this is like a beginner's luck, I think.
Yeah.
I want to note that you get So see, I'm at 6 health.
Yep.
At the beginning of your turn, you regenerate health points unless you're poisoned,
Okay.
based off the dice you roll and your level. So
Okay.
Okay.
I know I'm gonna regenerate, so,
So you're all the way back to the
6.
top
so,
now?
so
Nice.
now I'm confident to
Yeah.
keep going.
Oh, so your movement die also is the amount you regenerate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's plus your level.
Yeah,
Is that snake different looking than the other one?
It is a different
It
look.
might be.
Is
So we
it
have
both
random-
lighting effects? Is that what it is?
We have different scenes
Okay.
for each
Scenes have
level.
different
So
lighting, yeah.
level 1 has about 3 to 4 different scenes, and so do level 2 and 3 different.
Nice.
So the idea is the first level is kind of above ground. The second level, you find a dungeon. You go in the dungeons. And
Okay.
the third is caves, lava,
Cool.
and then dragons.
So the statement I'm about to make, I don't want you guys to feel like it's an insult whatsoever. It's more for the people listening. With the world that we live in, with computer graphics and special effects and stuff, the graphics and the backgrounds are very simple. But for a board game, it fucking works. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what you want. I mean, it's a board game.
Yeah.
It's a board game. Snake just gave it to you.
I originally had them like just spawn on the board and you fight him right there. I was like, we need to spice it
I
up.
like
and
this.
add scenes,
It's like the first time when I was a kid when Battle Chess cut scenes and you actually got to see the battle.
I was a big Final Fantasy fan, so
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that
I did Dragon Warrior. That was my.
Oh, Dragon Warrior was a
Dragon
good one. Yeah.
Defeated a monster.
Hey,
I didn't want to waste my spells because I knew I could beat him with my melee.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
Now that when I look up top, I'll figure that stuff out too
So-
instead of just jumping in.
So look at this. Here's a little thing. So since I got a bonus move, I can go fight another guy since he's right here.
Oh, 2 monsters.
Cool.
Now he's
Ooh,
tough.
he
6
is
defense,
tough, yeah.
17 health. I'm going to use a spell. Some X there.
So, and your spell obviously shows you that it's a
do a
better
lot
chance
more,
because it's
yeah.
2d6,
The wizard has defeated.
and you just
Nice.
fucked him
Just
up
knocked
like
him
it was
out, right?
nothing.
Yeah, spells are awesome.
Like it was nothing.
And the wizard has the most magic power of any.
That makes sense, and he's the weakest physically. So
Yeah.
yeah. And does he have the lowest amount of hit points, or are we all set at the same?
So if you look here on your inventory, so I can only have with the wizard up to 6 armor and shield, so 12
You only
defense.
sock it
But the
something.
fighter can go up to 10.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
So
and
you
then-
all start the same, but you can end very different.
So what's
Okay.
what's Cleric's biggest strength?
You can heal better? Is because it's cleric or
So this-
Clerics have spells and good melee, so good melee. Like
well
average
balanced,
kind of-
well balanced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just the
another
middle of the road.
another
guy.
thing they have, and it's really good to know, it's on that is they subtract all forms of damage by their level. So
Okay.
it's kind of a little
Which
thing. And
which
they're
kind
immune
of
to
simulate
poison,
how a
too.
cleric can heal.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that makes.
Man, I've never, like I said, that I'm new to this whole thing, but
And it's his own rules. He's not just
I have a
copying. He's not just
million-
copying the standard classes. He's making
Yeah.
up new rules, different
Oh,
different
man.
styles.
And
But I
I feel
could
like if
see
you
us,
didn't
like-
know any of that, you
Oh,
could
man.
still just start from nothing and play it, and it's pretty intuitive as
Yeah.
far as that goes. You
Yeah.
might not know to socket your
Monkey.
gems right away, but you figure it out once you start getting your butt.
So I'm a little gun shy because I got my ass kicked a while ago.
You got
But
2 moves.
I'm gonna go fight this monster, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen
I was
here.
gonna say, being new to
Looks
this
like you only
thing,
got one more move left, so you can get that item there.
Because
That
you
one
already beat this
Yeah.
monster, right?
That's the one that's got it there.
And so I want to. And so okay.
so that one's already
yeah.
been used because there's no light.
Yeah.
on it.
Wow, man. See, I was scared to death.
So you
Draw
have
a
to
card.
draw a card.
The only reason I don't know that is that I got put
You
the
got a camera,
cameras
you
right
gotta
there.
get a
Potion of health. Okay.
So you can use that at the beginning of your turn or
Turn.
during combat.
Feel
Is
like
the-
so you the one real quick. Sorry, Bender. It says auto saving. You don't have to finish a game in one setting then.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, well, I missed that. You could stop now and we'd still.
You can come back to this.
Oh,
one.
okay, cool.
Yeah, I
And you
got
can
it.
have up to 3 save games going at any time.
So yeah, I saw the 3 slots. Okay.
And it saves it locally on your computer. It's real small files.
Does
You
the
don't
boot
do
Yeah.
just
anything
mean
else,
it's your
so-
turn to move around?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So this is you now, Bender, right? All right. You are the dwarf.
Kind of. I gotta do a lot of
one.
backtracking.
That's nothing.
I just gotta backtrack.
Congratulations, you got to roll into an empty spot.
Yep.
And this is when the game could take a little while.
That's all right, though.
Yeah.
Once you
Hey,
level
we're
up,
not-
though, the move dice
We don't necessarily have
increases,
to-
so you can go from one side of the board to the other.
We don't necessarily finish on the air, but
Yeah, we're not going to finish on the episode, but I like the fact that we're playing it, and it makes for, and that way it gives us more stuff to talk about as we go through it too. Now, so Scott, did,
Ooh.
negative. So you lost magic power there.
oh, it hurts.
So if you don't
I gotta
have
tell
any
you,
magic power,
Doesn't
to
bother
begin
me.
with, it doesn't bother you.
me. I like seeing you guys get punished.
Yeah.
That's
I
why
don't
I
mind
always.
watching you die first.
That's why I always play thieves in games. I don't mind seeing bad things to happen to other people.
It's your
And-
turn.
Oh, back to me already, but that was
So-
a quick one. Big
Just
money.
watching this, like, and playing around, like, I could see, like, and you guys said you don't drink, but we do, and it's kind of our thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see sitting around with a couple people having a couple beers and playing this for a few hours and having a good time and just having conversations.
All right, Rat 2.
It's pretty fun.
I'm going to fuck this rat
I
up.
like co-op games, you know. They're
Yeah,
more fun.
yeah.
Well,
See, I'm not a big online guy,
Shit.
but like board games or
I lied.
stuff like this is a lot of fun.
I came in confident and declared that I was going to fuck this rat up, but I missed. And
So are
Now the
Mrs.
thief
Oh,
gets a chance
I
to
dodged.
dodge.
I
So
dodged
that's the
the
only
thief,
that's
yeah.
the thief, the only one who
eat
gets
it,
to do that.
asshole.
How so are misses randomly generated, or is it just because you rolled a low die?
Low dice.
Oh,
Okay.
He's got to defeat your defense, and you got to defeat his defense. So he's at 2. So if you're rolling a 1d6 attack roll and you roll a 1, then you're not going to get the roll
Okay.
damage.
You got to get over 2.
now can
2
the
or better.
thief? Is there
Gotcha.
Alright. Is there upgradable ability to dodge for the thief? Like
No, it's just standard, but he's the only one that hasn't, and it's
That
pretty
makes sense,
crucial too. It works out
5.
pretty good.
Nah, I
Nice.
killed him.
There
He's
you go.
dead.
You
He's
should
dead
get
now.
him.
Yeah, I win this one.
2 damage.
Yeah, he's gone.
All
Eat
right.
it.
The thief has
I killed
defeated
a rat.
monster.
There you go.
Once you get into the rhythm of it too, man, it's like you could
Yeah.
burn away a couple hours just slaying monsters all day. You know. It's
So I have
pretty
one
interesting.
move left. Well,
I
that's
think it's my
disappointing.
generation, but I like it better actually physically seeing the monsters than
Then you gotta declare
having to
end
use
turn,
my
which is
imagination.
That's right.
Because that's dead, you know, thanks to the internet.
Yeah, your generation killed it forever. My daughter, speaking of that, my daughter and I had a good conversation on the way to school. She keeps calling me Boomer. And I go, I'm not a Boomer, I'm a Gen Xer.
Yeah,
And so she looked it up, and she got very disappointed to find out that I was right.
yeah.
She's like, I
I'm
really
on the
wanted
tail
you
end
to,
of it.
she really goes, I really wanted you to be a Boomer. And I go, listen, your grandpa's a Boomer.
Yeah. It's not born after World War II. I mean, I was,
Ooh.
but not right after.
Man, the fighter tears some shit.
So
Fighter,
the fighter gets an extra attack dice.
Yeah.
That's his advantage.
and I'm not that I mean, the game. I feel like if I played the game sat down, I'd find the balance. But as a noob, for the kids, the fighter and the wizard are they've got some. There's some bonuses to taking those guys because they're doing a lot of damage, rolling the extra, whether it's magic or base.
If you give Timmy the thief, he knows every exploit with the thief, and he'll clear that whole board before
Well,
it's even your turn.
so
'cause you
and
can
that's
do-
just it because I didn't take a dive into the game, because you guys are here and we're trying to play it for the podcast. But had I known the thief could steal, I wouldn't have left the board.
Yeah.
I'd have stayed.
Yeah.
I'd have stayed, and I would always mimic where everybody's going because I would want to steal from them.
You got to have gloves of stealing. That's an item.
Well, I'd find it.
Yeah, you will.
How many items
So
are
2
there?
monsters.
Over 20.
Over 20, okay.
So
25.
when you talk about when we talk about add-ons and upgrades, that's certainly the first place my mind would go is like extra cards, so to speak,
Sure.
for upgrading different items,
Sure.
different monsters, obviously. But
I do like the idea of the colored dice, though. That is
oh yeah, being able to upgrade. Not that I don't
agree.
like
That's
the
a great
green,
idea.
but I
Yeah.
could see people wanting to.
Yeah.
because that's a big deal when you play D&D.
It is.
It is.
And like I said, there's
Yeah,
a
it's
million
great.
different colored dice and swirls in mine. I've got my purple and green because I'm an Incredible Hulk fan, and that's my primary. And then there's every color of the rainbow in there.
So in the original version, when you go up against a dragon, it random generates different colors. We kind of needed a stopping point, so we're
makes
just
sense.
going with one dragon and this one, and that's the fire dragon. So this
Gotcha.
one emphasizes the fire dragon.
Okay.
And what you can get what's called dragon stones. And when you find these dragon stones, when you collect them, they're going to take a percentage off of fire damage. So you want to
Okay.
collect these by the time you get to the fire dragon.
Now, what is that? What was that tile?
That's a treasure card.
Treasure, and that. So that's a
That's a chest.
treasure
Yeah,
treasure chest.
So
Okay.
you get
chair
one item
is
card and gold
throne.
card.
Okay.
Throne.
Magic throne. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that's already been exploited. So now you're moving through.
So do you give and I'm terrible with names, and I'll always do this. I'll never remember the guy who created this game.
Scott
His name is
Mayo.
Scott Mayo. He gets a free one, I assume.
Yep.
Hey, he's-
Okay.
He's got his version. Yeah. He's
Nice.
played it a little bit.
What's he think? Is he
Oh, he's happy.
is he happy?
He's psyched in. He's got little notes.
You gotta give him a
now.
better
He's
computer,
like,
though.
Like these.
Yeah,
these
'cause he's a
colored
farmer.
Squares here. It didn't used to have colored tiles on this.
Okay.
And he was like, "Yeah, they should be colored because they were colored in the original." Like,
There you go. Yeah, easy
right.
fix on that one. Yeah.
So he's a 6. I shouldn't waste my magic on it. I just want to see what the magic looks like.
yeah. I mean, since we're
You got to roll. Okay.
you have to stop roll for both of them. Then.
The cleric has defeated
Son of a
monster.
bitch! You
Nice.
overkilled. You should have saved that magic for a
I
bigger
should
monster.
say that. I just want to
it's
see what it
fun,
looks
though,
like.
yeah.
Potion of speed. Now, what does that double your movement?
So what that does, and the thief actually starts out with a potion of speed. He's the only one that
Son of a
does.
bitch.
It gives you an extra turn.
Hey, he wouldn't tell me
Oh,
that.
nice.
See?
So
It's like
this
playing
door
against my
here, am I going to
cousins
get a
as
new
kid.
tile? Am I getting a new tile if I go?
So if you go there, you can open up new board pieces. So if you hit
that's
X,
on the board piece.
Hit draw a card, yeah.
So here you can select
a bunch of different ones.
and then you can rotate them too with your X button if you want.
My
How do we
brother.
get to the dragon? I don't.
We gotta
quite
get there,
understand.
dude. You're not high
You
enough.
gotta beat the,
So right here, I'll give you a tip. Right here, this particular piece has this tile piece, and that's a guardian.
That's a
So,
special one.
and he's a harder monster. And,
Yeah.
But once you defeat him, new board pieces open up, level 2. Then you
Okay.
go there and you got to find the next guardian.
And then
Oh, okay,
so you
okay,
gotta get
okay.
up to the dragon. It's not like, and you're not ready for that, bro.
I'm
not ready for a
I'm not
dragon.
saying
I'm
that-
trying to
that
jump
I
the gun,
am.
dude.
I'm just figuring this stuff out. Am I done? Yeah. I'm done.
That's like hitting on a supermodel when you're 15. You just aren't in that game, bro.
Hey man, you don't know until you shoot your shot.
Yeah.
The worst that can happen is she turns into
Yeah.
Yeah. And you go home with the same person you were originally going to go home with.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Has engaged in combat.
And what button brings that up again? I apologize.
That's why. That's your
Why,
utilities
okay.
right down here
I got it.
and your character.
That was his way of saying, read the fucking screen, Jerry.
Yeah. So let's get into the trailer. Like, let's get into it.
It was Bender's first question when he walked into the house today.
And the game, I will say, is very fun. The trailer, I didn't understand what was going on, and I didn't understand why you guys were walking through an ice cave in regular clothing.
Fourth card.
In regular clothes.
because we didn't have costumes.
I was like,
Our
neither
budget
one of
was
these guys
shoestring.
doesn't have
they're
like
big
a
dorks.
plastic Viking helmet off Amazon. Come on.
I did have leather pants, but I chose not to wear them.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know we were actually getting outside on that one. But.
Nice.
So you guys filmed that trailer when we had the snow a couple...
Yeah, that's at Forest Park right there.
Nice.
The frozen waterfall.
That's awesome.
I think he's
Well,
gonna
that's
get
the
me.
cool demon about this. Ghoul is really cool.
Yeah, this is a ghoul.
He's the
Not-
hardest one.
He's one of the hardest level 1 monsters.
Two
Okay.
things, not to be confused with a rat, but it is a ghoul. I gotta tell you what, that ghoul is so Resident Evil, it's not even
I was
fucking
I was
funny.
just thinking that. It looked like a T-virus monster.
Yeah, that thing is.
liquor or
I keep
whatever.
waiting for Chris Redfield to come out and shotgun that piece of shit right into my. And that's a compliment because Bender drunkenly shared a video with the podcast group on Facebook a couple weeks ago. He shared it. And he goes, check this out. So I watched it. It's a 30-minute explanation of the history of Resident Evil. And the next
All the
day I go,
games.
video's great. He goes, I didn't even watch it. I go, but you said it was cool. No, I was drunk. Could have been the worst thing ever imaginable. And I just watched
I didn't remember
Cool looking.
even pulling it up. It was one of those nights.
Yeah,
But
that shit happens.
This,
it was a
this
cool
might
video,
be
though.
cool as fun of a text. This
Yeah.
might be cool.
I watched it after Jeremy gave it the green light. That was the thing. I wanted to know if it was going to be good, and I let him watch it first.
So there you draw your card, you hit X.
All right.
I know the camera's in your way.
That's okay. Thank you.
Now you got enough money to level up on your next turn.
Shit, yeah. And I got a spell. Now, do I get to go look at that? Or a spell I just automatically
So
have.
if you want to look, you hit select here for your character. Or
Select.
Okay.
yeah,
okay.
and
Yeah.
so it shows your
All
spells
right.
here.
Awesome. Now, so I got one spell. I can only use that one time, right?
Yep.
All right.
It's consumable.
Yep. All right. Now that's the end of my turn because I don't.
Turn has ended.
So if the cleric
Is the fight
is magic and the wizard, are their spells regenerated, or do you still have to obtain them?
You can buy them or you find them.
Okay. So you
Are
don't
they
just
the only
have
ones
a
that can
little bit
buy
of
them?
magic.
Or
The
can
thief,
we all
thief
buy?
can actually use spells too. The magic power scales, like the thief can have the most magic power and the most spells. And the cleric can have in
Okay.
the middle of that, and the thief the
Because
lowest.
they're more melee. Okay, that makes sense. Or the wizard can have
The
most.
wizard can have the most.
Yeah, I mean when you
Carry the
when you
most.
get the wizard up there, you have like 8 dice. You get to roll.
Oh, that's
cool.
There's a
Man,
book.
I'm like just crushing it. on
Second
the
shelf,
rolls.
shelf down from the top, there's a book over there called Champions. That is a superhero role-playing game from the mid-'90s. That's a hard book to find. Not that I'm bragging about my collection,
great.
but it
Yes.
is a hard book to find. What makes that the greatest
So-
superhero book of all time, or superhero role-playing game of all time? So if you have, like, say, Superman-type character and you have super strength, you actually, in that game, you can get up to 20 D10 to roll his damage. There's nothing more rewarding than rolling 20 dice at one time.
And that's why I wanted to do this, because all the games we ever played, it's mostly behind-the-scenes mechanics. So
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's taken out. I want to make it feel like a board game.
Oh, yeah,
So I put those dice up there. And
This, the best way I can describe playing this to people, it is the simplicity of a board game that doesn't have. So, for instance, Gloomhaven. A lot of my fans will know what Gloomhaven is. It's probably one of the most complicated board games you can get.
Our fans.
It's like, our fans, sorry. It's like 50 minutes setup before you start. But it's a very rewarding, fun game. But we referenced Munchkin a while ago. Munchkin's as simple as a game you can get, and it's endless fun. This game is a healthy blend of the seriousness of a Gloomhaven, but the simplicity of a Munchkin. This is a fun game.
Yeah.
This is an entertaining
It's
game.
visually entertaining.
And listen, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass because Bender's been ready to pick you guys apart on your trailer thinking it was serious.
Yeah. No, I was not going to pick you guys apart.
No,
man.
and now people.
I don't want to.
And now people are going to watch that trailer ad nauseum because we've mentioned it so
I
much.
watched it 4 times.
I love it. And I'll tell you, my favorite part of the entire trailer is the scared take that you guys glance at each other when the dragon's about. That's my favorite part.
Cracks
of it.
me up every time.
Yeah, that's good acting. That's perfect. Oh, is it me back to me? Awesome.
Now, is that trailer again? Because I'm not into this world, but I assume like if you do comic books, if you're a comic book guy like we are, like Marvel will release a comic book trailer and it'll do like little shots of like the art that's coming up, but a lot of it is just its own initial graphics. Is that kind of how all these trailers are, like standalone things? Like, are these games always trailers like
Well,
that?
I mentioned
where it
to
almost
him-
has nothing to do with like necessarily the actual gameplay itself.
It's good to have
like a
both.
retro style.
Okay,
Now I have a question because I
it
forgot.
did feel retro. It felt very nice.
I should have leveled up, but I forgot to. I can't mid-roll level up now, can I? I have to wait
So
till my
you gotta
next
go
turn.
to the end.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll do it next then.
You actually have a teleport scroll, so like
What?
next beginning of your turn, you can actually teleport back to the end.
Oh, so I can go back to the castle.
Oh,
where
you
I
have to
started.
go
If
to
you have a
the
teleport.
end to up.
But you got to do it at the
upgrade.
beginning of your turn.
Okay, so I can teleport back. I can upgrade, and
Oh wow, that's
game on. So to kind of piggyback on what Bender was saying, so I do a lot of Kickstarters. Probably an unhealthy amount of Kickstarting things, whether it's backpacks, clothing lines,
weird hats.
weird hats. I got a hat that I can wad up and wash and put it back on, and it always maintains its shape.
Nice.
I love it. Then there's also I've done a lot of shit. That's what I'm trying to say. The trailer you guys did is the perfect kind of trailer that Kickstarter would use.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, you show the game enough in it, and
it's
it
me.
grabs your
Sorry.
attention. That's what the trailer should do. And like you said, it's a very mid-'90s trailer.
That's exactly
That's
what I was
it,
going
and
for,
it,
yeah.
you nailed it. And you nailed
Yeah, you two at the end holding the the sword, and one of you guys has like a
The brazier?
At the end, there
a
it's
Viking
something.
brazier.
It reminded me
Yeah,
of something
yeah.
I would see at the back in the back of like a Nintendo magazine or like a comic book, and be like, what the fuck
The
is
Dungeon
this?
magazine would be very much beat your friends any way possible, and that's what it would be.
I don't know what this means.
So
Now,
is this
there's
you,
a,
Bender?
Yeah, it's me.
Engaged in combat.
there's a trailer on for Dragon Hunter from like 1986 or something like that.
Dragon Warrior.
Dragon Warrior,
Sam,
yeah,
I
yeah,
missed
yeah.
that several too, right?
And
Oh.
and it's got a kid on a horse and a guy in armor, and it's got like basically just 2 cutscenes like that, and the rest of it's all gameplay, and it's pretty cool.
Now, I'm sorry, was that his hammer that generated the lightning? Is that what he does all the time? I didn't pay attention.
Yeah,
the
I
first
kind of
time.
gave their melee attacks kind of special effects
Okay,
to each
cool.
of them.
I didn't know if that was an upgraded thing he
No.
had or something.
No, that was just a regular attack.
You talk about upgrades. We do plan to polish and spice it up. You know, as you gain levels, maybe magic spells will change, get bigger and stuff.
Okay.
We don't have that implemented yet. But stuff, you know.
Crushing
simple
this
things
game
like
is the new guy. Just saying.
Yeah, you're on top of it. I'm going to level up, though, and then shit's getting real.
that. Now you got a couple magic gems, so you go to your
Bitch.
inventory there.
The only negative thing I can say about your guys' game is that Bender's winning. That's it. I don't like it. I don't like
He
it.
does have more gems.
We talk about this on the podcast quite every once in a while. I mean, Bender is definitely, he was my first co-host. We've since added some people. But it's very much this podcast. I do all the producing, the editing, I do all the ideas and things. So it's pretty much my podcast.
Yeah.
Part of that's because I'm a bit of a control freak. So it's very hard to watch him win.
Yeah.
Pisses me off.
First time we played Munchkin, I
Just gonna show
wanted
you there.
Munchkin.
You go to the end and you just level up. If you
Yeah.
have enough gold, and that's it.
I don't know if
Gives
I've
you more
ever-
health.
Yep.
And as every 3rd, 6th, and 9th level, you get new ability, like more items.
I saw that on your
Yeah.
your.
Okay.
and more dice too. So,
That's awesome.
This is-
and I got one more movements, a couple more minutes, so I can keep going.
Has engaged in combat.
Level 1 monster.
And
Oh,
there's
we're all level 1. That's why you're only fighting level 1 monsters,
Correct.
right? You don't. So for people that are listening, you're not going to draw a level 2, level 3 monster card and have no chance out of the gate. You stay.
Oh, you can.
You can.
It's random like that. They're not considered level 2 monsters. So you got about 30 different
Blood
monsters for level
effect
1, about 30 different
Yeah, a little
monsters
bit.
for level 2. and they scale from easy to hard.
Oh, okay.
So,
So there's a chance. of
typical
beating
about
level
level 4 or 5 character level would be the hardest level 1 monster.
Okay.
So when you want to go to level 2, you need to be about maybe level 4 or 5.
Okay.
Maybe 5,
All
6.
right. Okay. That's very cool. I want to see.
So I missed them.
But
so
yeah,
I'm gonna
you
catch-
won't draw a level 2 monster when you're on level 1 unless you land on a level 2 monster card, and it has a different icon.
Oh, okay. So you'll know. You know to avoid it.
There's a couple of them
Okay.
guarding like a couple chests.
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
couple visible landmines, we'll call it. Yeah. Okay. This guy's tough. This guy's giving you a little bit of fits.
Yeah.
So if you were gonna play this on your own, like, or there's a preferred route, I would assume, right?
You can just go straight for the Guardian and try to kill him right
Yeah.
away. But if you go, if you literally just plow a path straight to the Guardian and fight him, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta defeat one level 2 monster even before you get to the Guardian, and the Guardian's basically like a mid-level level 2 monster.
What's his name? I'm trying to make a picture for people. This is an
Looks
orc.
like Goro.
That's what I was about to say. It looks like Goro without the extra
other-
arms.
So I'm a little potion of health here. Let's see if it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're but I can't wait for that movie, by the way.
So I
The new
drink a
one.
potion.
Yeah. It's on here. It's on April. It's on HBO Max. I can't
2
wait.
weeks, I think.
What's
Goro.
the new Mortal
Mortal
Kombat
Kombat.
movie?
Oh,
Can't wait
Nice.
for it. Yeah.
We love Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
The
Video
movie.
game's
Have you seen the
great.
trailer?
No.
Oh, you gotta
the
watch
new
the
movie.
trailer.
Oh, okay.
It's an adult R-rated Mortal
Great.
Kombat.
Yeah.
Like we've wanted forever.
Perfect.
The scene that sold it for me was when Sub-Zero freezes Scorpion's blood and then stabs him with it.
Yes. Yeah.
It's insane.
Another spell. All right.
Check that out.
Yeah,
Now,
it's definitely worth watching.
is there a does the probability work in favor? So will a wizard get more spell books, or
No,
is it
it's
just
random.
it's completely
It's random.
randomized? Okay.
So if you want to hit your utilities, which is the Y there, the Y button. So you see you have both a potion of speed and a teleport.
And I want to go to teleport because I want to get back to the end.
So now if you hit your R buttons and kind of scale out a little bit.
Right.
Oh, you can just pick which one you want to go to?
Yeah, and you can go anywhere.
Where was
Okay.
they
That's
are.
laid out.
You're not supposed to be able to go to the Dragon's Lair, so...
Yeah, but
make
you can
sure
go to the
it's-
door right next to the Dragon's Lair.
Oh,
now-
that makes
So
sense.
now you hit open store with your X button, and you have enough so you can level up and hit A.
Now I'm ready to kick somebody.
Now if you-
You can buy. I always
I'd buy a
a
couple more
teleports
teleport
close.
Oh, it's 'cause I have the money.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
100 each.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you browse the store there, you can see.
What's the gauntlet there?
So it said I had enough. How much gold did I have? And I apologize.
Oh, okay.
You had 500,
So 300 to level up, and then I bought 2 scrolls, 100 each.
but now it costs 400 to
Costs
level
more
up. It
when you level
scales
up.
up.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
that makes sense though too. That makes sense too. So now I can use another teleport scroll right now, or can I only use?
Just did a move turn.
Try it.
So.
It's the.
So you hit the Y, your utilities. You go down and teleport.
Okay, you've already used a move action, so that's into my turn right there.
It worked. Confirmation.
What's that? Oh yeah.
He was pretty confident you were going to be able to do it.
Yes.
I had to write that down real quick.
Yeah. In case.
Do you
I
have
brought my notepad here.
That was going to be my question. Do you have a group of guys that play, like a Jeremy or something that plays this outside?
I used to have down my hometown, my group of D&D friends and my brother and stuff. But as we got older, we kind of went over.
Like
play.
beta testers?
That's why I'm trying to get it online. So
Okay.
but we do play some video games together, like my
Mhm.
brother and I, for instance.
But you don't have like a dedicated crew of guys like being like,
We did.
this,
We did for a little
this
bit, but
bug or-
not anymore.
Hey, baby steps.
Oh no,
though.
we don't have beta testers.
Okay.
Hey, baby steps. Let's keep making games, and eventually
Yeah.
you'll have to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the dream, right?
We just do a lot of beta testing ourselves. Richie does a lot of it while we're streaming. He'll just note a bug and I'll immediately fix it.
Oh, so
Awesome.
you already.
Constant.
That one's already been used, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you're out of moves.
You're out of moves. I like that you wasted it instead of going to the sword.
I was already at the sword. I left the sword.
No, if it's got the spike, that means it's still good.
Oh.
You know? You miss whole parts of our conversation, Bender.
Well, that's what happens when you learn something and drink it.
So here we go.
Speaking of, you want to grab us a beer?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let's go ahead and go with this Guardian. Do we have him open?
Where's-
Yeah, he is open. So I'm gonna go ahead and.
So you're teleporting to the Guardian.
Yeah, just because I feel bold.
Foolish.
And the Guardian, so a normal, to indicate that it's a unused resource on the map, it's a blue spike, but the Guardian had a yellow spike.
Yeah, it's a special effect kind
Okay.
of thing. It does look like a spike.
Just so people know that it's different.
On the board game, you actually had these little pieces you
Yeah.
put over the board, and then when you clear it, you just take it off.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. And you did a good job representing it. So.
So
So here's the Guardian, new level. comes
So
out.
this is a Guardian 1, 73. Fuck.
Yeah, you're
all
not gonna
round.
win. That's a good looking Guardian.
No, but look, he's got one spell, so he can hit him for 26
Yeah.
in theory,
and I got one
or
potion.
up
one
to.
health
Actually,
potion.
you
And
could
he's
hit
got
him for
a
up to. Yeah, you have a health, and you could hit him for not 26. You could hit him for up to 38 if you hit it right.
That's correct.
So, and you said you could flee if you wanted to.
5. Yep, and you can also teleport out of combat. If you have
Okay,
to.
that was gonna be because the
Flee's
teleport
risky,
popped
though.
up.
So he's gonna hit me pretty
So
hard.
there's a
here.
chance that they can hit
You
you.
can only 1 in 4 flee.
So he killed me in one hit.
Oh!
Well, outside of that,
So that's how
he
hard the
still
Guardian
gets to
is.
beat you up. Now, if you fail to flee, do you die or do you?
Depends on the
continue to
damage
fight?
they do.
Combat keeps going.
Combat keeps going.
You got to
okay.
roll. It's
So-
3 or 4.
So you
Die
just, so
for.
Tim, you just died. So you
One
will
hit.
pop back up on the castle,
Oh.
Yeah,
the inn. I keep calling it
The main inn.
IN,
And now
so people
each-
know.
tavern.
Oh, I didn't mean to.
Each card doesn't have its own inn, right? Like the ones you
There's
add.
only a few on the level 1s, and maybe one on level 2.
Oh, I
Okay,
don't.
okay.
Dang it! I didn't mean to go that
So
way.
it's good to have
I wanted to
teleport
steal shit, but I don't
good
have
to
the
get
gloves yet.
teleports.
Arrgh. I'm gonna go back up here. I know I've got 3 moves left. There we go.
Thief has engaged in
I was totally about to rip somebody off, and then I forgot I didn't have it.
Yeah, and you can actually choose which item you steal.
Oh man, it's even better. Suck it, Snake.
I will say that most of your guys seem a little height challenged, though. Was that on?
They're dwarves. They're dwarves.
Yeah, they're all.
Are they all dwarves? Except for the
woman.
the fighter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she could be a dwarf. She's just a really big one. That's
Ooh,
why she's the fighter.
you guys are fucked now. I'm gonna find all of you. I got 2 teleports
That's
and the
Betty.
gloves
She's
to
the
steal.
biggest in the group.
She's gonna teleport and steal.
I'm teleport and steal. I'm gonna be an asshole.
Nice.
Oh, I don't want this one. Have you had it yet?
No,
Drink it.
you don't like it.
It's okay. I got
You want this?
the double clouds. Yeah, I want that.
Because I bought the 12 pack.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah, Second Shift just came out with this 12 pack. It's got 3 of the yellow cans, 3 of the green, and 3 of the blue cans.
I like
Or it's
that.
not a 12
As
pack.
opposed to calling them
It's a
by their
9 pack.
name, you just name them by your color.
Yeah, because the yellow's pineapple, but I don't know what that one is. That
Sunny
one looks-
Cat. This is Sunny Cat.
It's Sunny Cat, pineapple, Sunny Cat. I don't know what's in that one.
New England style is all it says.
Okay, that just made the original one.
Second shift here in St. Louis.
downtown.
Oh yeah.
It's a 9-pack, 9
Steve Kreider's actually been on our podcast.
We used to
before.
do beer club meetings there.
Yeah. Well,
the
Steve
time.
Kreider, for those that don't
He's
know
got a
him,
great beard.
he is the Christopher Lloyd Doc Brown of brewing.
Yep.
He's crazy. He's honest and the coolest guy you'll ever see talk about beer.
Did you ever see his cat?
That's the one. The one
it's
that
Sunny Cat. It's the one
Sunny
we talked
Cat's-
about.
it
on
passed away. That's
Only
what
on
that beer's
pictures,
made
yeah.
from.
Well, they had one called the cat spit.
Yeah, cat spit,
Yeah.
milk stout, or stout.
Cat spit stout.
Yeah. And Libby's very active on social media. She runs all their social media, and she's cool as can be, too.
How I scroll
You hit the
Your
left button,
buttons on the top there.
right or
Yeah,
left
two
button,
there.
bumpers.
You probably just want to go one spot and call it good. Intern. Just intern now.
The cleric's turn
Didn't know if I
has
wanted to go
ended.
back to the other one.
Nah, just intern. You don't need to move. You're doing good.
Wizard's turn.
Well, I just burned two turns.
I moved. I burned mine too, but I got that bonus for kicking some snake ass, and then got me a treasure with some steal some shit.
Well, aren't
Yeah,
you
and as
cool?
you can see, the boards are starting to lay out here.
Yeah.
And how? Again, I'm sorry, we've asked this before, but how many total tiles can you get before? I mean,
About
For the
16.
so we can load it
15,
down
16,
if we
yeah.
wanted.
And how do you get?
There's more than 16, isn't there?
how do you
But
get
16 at one time is all you can hold. or-
16, 18, somewhere around.
And
Anywhere
that's
15 to 20.
on the level. Like the top level could be 16.
No, there's 30 tiles for level 1, right? Is that what you said? I apologize.
So these
That's
are
what they call
these
it,
are called
tiles.
game boards.
Oh, boards, yeah, boards.
So
It's
these
called
game
boards.
boards, there's about 6 or 7 on the first level, 6 for 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And then,
And if you don't have, I mean, if you put more than 16 down, you're just milking the game. You need to go fight a monster.
And sometimes it takes that many if
Does it?
everybody's fighting all the way to the end.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you could lay
because you
every
lose
single one out.
levels, you lose levels from thrones or the higher
like
monsters
you did
have,
earlier, the-
have
Okay.
level
Throne
drain.
fucked you.
Yeah, once you get to level 3, man, they do the monsters start to do level drain on you if you don't have a special ring.
So when you fight a dragon, you fight them on your own.
Yep.
And
And it's a different perspective too. So
Oh,
it's,
it's
we have
it's
we
an
have-
epic scene, man, with some sweet
yeah.
heavy metal music.
Oh,
have a,
I can't wait to see it.
Do you have a cheat like to dive straight to that real quick?
try
you
to
can-
figure it out.
Might have a save game.
Not sure
How do
if
I
we
steal?
want it for the podcast. Maybe after that.
How do I steal?
Yeah.
That's the
That's
treat.
cool.
We gotta
Yeah.
We got to save a little bit for the.
Oh yeah. You don't need to record.
So
it.
see if this even
spoilers on
works.
the trailer.
I
All right,
haven't
so
tested
hold
this
on.
yet.
We're going to see if this works. So I moved to a spot. Now I'm going to steal something. Now what do I do here? I just
Highlight it.
well, I don't know.
I think it's
Oh, I got
I
to use.
think I got to work on that.
Okay.
So what would you like to steal?
I want to steal a weapon. A
All
weapon,
right.
Jim.
So it might have worked.
Hit it.
Go ahead and hit intern. Let's see what happens there.
The thief's turn has ended.
We've been playing a single player so much we haven't even tested it. Well, there's our bug.
That's the bug. That's the one.
So you got to fix the steal.
The steal.
Okay.
So how does that? Okay. I only
get that
know
screen to go
programming from movies.
So let's just do this.
So it basically just called up the user interface, and we don't want it to stay up there, and we want it to be able to access with the controller and not the keyboard.
Yep. So how do
We
you
can restart the
when
game
you,
right
when
back,
you have
so-
a bug
Yeah.
like that? How do you go in and fix that? How long does that
So
take?
there's a magical
You can
place.
add in Unity through the script.
We haven't even really
Okay.
And,
got to play it
depends
too
on how
much.
complex
Well,
the
it's
Yeah,
okay.
but
Hey,
still,
I'm
yeah.
excited that we're a part of that. I'm
Yeah.
excited that we're
Yeah,
a
it's
part.
neat.
Yeah.
This is a lot of fun.
We don't normally get thrills from seeing mistakes, but I'm glad we can help you fix one.
And then we're right back on whoever's turn it
You
was.
probably haven't been so overzealous
I thought
to
it was.
steal, and it's back to me.
It's supposed to be. Didn't
Looks
look
like
like
it
it
started
worked.
us all back in the beginning.
Oh, but we all have. Oh, yeah, we're all
Sure
back
did
at
good.
level
Game.
1.
Didn't save it.
It's weird, huh?
That is very weird.
It's been working every time.
Well, hey, that's something to work out for.
I know.
Gotta go home
Well, I
working
tell you
on
what. So we'll call that a
Yeah,
good stopping
sounds
spot.
good.
Let's
Yep.
finish up talking.
Agreed.
This is a good time. I enjoy
Yeah,
the
I'm
game.
very much enjoying this.
Well, let me get back. So let's go back to back to you guys. So we talked a little bit during the game about some upgrades and some eventual bonus content and things like that. And you talked about the game. What was it? The last. That's
Last Kingdom of Dwarves.
and so that'll be you guys are going to revisit that. But do
Yeah.
you have so?
Was that another similar dungeon crawler?
That's
thing?
actually going to be kind of. It's
3D.
kind of more like Dark Souls-y. It's
Okay,
kind of
okay.
Not as hardcore, but definitely
Mhm.
third-person live action.
So, I mean, obviously, if you're like me, who I'm very much into comics, currently in the middle of doing his own comic and stuff, things like that, your wheels are always turning for future. Is there other types of games that's already cooking
Oh,
in
yeah.
your
Oh,
head?
definitely. Well, we got one in the on the back burner.
In the hopper.
We've got more than one on the back burner, actually. There's a space game where you're flying a spaceship that we did for a while. It was called Space Wars, and we'll go back to that
Man, you guys,
eventually.
you're like between the trailer and like your initial names and everything. It just feels very retro. I really
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it. It
definitely.
just has very much a '90s vibe to it, and I like it.
And we're thinking about a racing game that's kind of like a fun, like car racing game, but it's a foot race, and your character are the monsters basically from this game.
that's
Monster race where the physics are like a car, but you're
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
zooming along
That's
with these little
hilarious.
legs, and have like this hell
All
stage
rights
that you,
reserved. We've
That's right, all
started.
rights
Trademarked.
So I brought up a couple of times my, according to my wife, my unnecessary passion for Kickstarters. Have you guys thought about doing to raise funds to
I
help
didn't
out?
want to because it's like the expectations,
Okay.
and like we were just,
Well-
I was moving around a lot, and so that's why like it's been taking us about
And you
5
can-
years, and so we finally got focused. Now we finally got the business going. So.
Well, and I think honest, that's smart. Get this game out, get some success underneath you,
Right.
and then when you
They get
decide
some-
to do a Kickstarter, you'll have one. You know, there's so many people. I mean, you can read tons of books and articles and Kickstarter for Dummies and things. There's so many people that have never released a thing. Will go
Right.
out and do a Kickstarter.
got to show
and-
that we can release it.
and they'll screw it up. But
Yeah.
you'll have, for lack of a better word, a resume. You got a resume
Yeah.
out there between
Exactly.
Rampage Kitty, between Dragon Hunters, and Dragon. I look forward to it coming out. That
Yeah,
is
that's
a
just
blast.
fun. Is Rampage Kitty still available? Like, could you grab it if you wanted to?
It is on Google Play still.
Okay.
You
So-
really have to search for it. That's how Google Play is.
Yeah, it is how Google Play
Yeah.
is. So let me ask you this: so you guys obviously, and we're gonna turn the attention off the game for just a little bit. You obviously, we talked that you were a fan of EverQuest and some D&D, but I always like we made some comments. It looked like a T-virus inspired monster in there. It looked like a Goro inspired monster. What kind of things get you? So when you're looking for creative inspiration, whether it's TV, games, movies, books, whatever, what gets you going right now? What are you typically consuming to help keep the juice? And music. I know you're both music fans, so.
Yeah, good question, man. I mean, all of the pop culture stuff. You know, we watch Mandalorian and all the Marvel movies and the DC universe, and all that stuff.
It's hard.
Silicon Valley, the movie Grandma's Voice. That's where we're trying to live.
Yeah.
Really.
Grandma's Voice,
Yeah.
a
We're
great
trying to
movie.
live that, and before it was we were doing Tenacious D. Now we're doing Grandma's Voice.
Man, unfortunately for Silicon Valley, Thomas Middleton.
Middleton, Middletech.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Middletech, yeah.
Yeah, he's unfortunately hurting us right now with him in the news. He's apparently a serial sex offender.
Fondler.
Apparently, yeah.
Apparently,
Just came out this past week. Him and his ex-wife used to be swingers, and he would constantly approach
Silicon Valley guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, one of the most brilliant improv guys on the planet.
Yeah, he did that thing with Ben Schwartz.
Yeah, Schwartz
and Middletech or whatever on Netflix.
Thomas
Great.
Middleditch is his name.
Yeah, Middleditch. Yeah.
And but apparently he's aggressive about his recruitment, and a lot of co-stars. The girl from Silicon Valley, the girl coder, she
blasted him on
years ago,
Twitter.
like years ago,
really?
blasted him, and then now he's getting like lawsuit or criminal action against. And she goes, "Guys, I've been telling you for years." But
honestly, she was on Twitter this week blasting the entire cast.
well, T.J. Miller didn't age well.
Yeah, but I mean, she was even saying like,
Don't shit on Kumail Nanjiani. Don't
she
shit on
said
Kumail.
We had a
he
chance to
wasn't
see
great
T.J.
on that show.
Well, it was a bit of a boys' club. So.
Yeah, and that was.
But anyway,
it doesn't make it an excuse.
Well, let's get off that. That's neither here nor there. But you brought up one show in particular that I think, and in my opinion, may be the best amalgam of pop culture genres out today, and that's The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's sci-fi.
I still haven't seen all of season 2, so
Are you
I'll
serious?
hold off.
Spoilers coming up.
Well, there'll be one spoiler, and it's not going to really spoil it for
Yeah,
you.
I already know a little bit of
But it's a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
But then it's got a lot of westerns in it, western aspects in it. In season 2, they go to high seas. There's so many genres.
And then it's the Wolf and Cub comic, or Wolf and Cub
Lone
comic
Wolf
book.
and Cub.
It's a
And
great
then-
comic if you ever.
Unbelievable.
You're into Japanese.
cinema.
Yeah, early Japanese Kurosawa
movies
film.
stuff.
And then, one of my favorite things, because Conan's one of my favorite characters ever created, the most Conan scene of all time in a post-credit scene at the end of season 2, where Boba Fett takes the throne and sits on the throne and sits down and he's got a staff. And I'm like, oh, that is shot for shot a Conan remake, which is awesome. So I like that. I like that you threw Mandalorian in there. What about you?
Spoiler alert.
Same.
It is post-credit, so it doesn't ruin it. You got to get there.
Same, like I said, as far as video games go, I started playing the Dark Souls series. It's always been a favorite franchise of mine. I know Richie kind of tends to like the 2D games a little more. He's into Super Meat Boy, which is a very popular indie game.
Yeah.
And we'll do a side scroller eventually. We got
Yeah.
one on cooking in the brain. It's called Guitarmageddon.
Nice.
I can't wait for the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Because you're going to love that. So you guys play a lot of indie games then?
Some, yeah.
I mean, there
I
is,
don't play that many now.
but so this, what was it, Meat? What did you just say?
Super Meat Boy.
Super Meat Boy. But indie games.
They had a Netflix series on them.
Yeah, I was going to
No
say.
shit, I didn't see that. I
they-
haven't even
yeah.
checked that out.
Yeah.
A movie called Indie Game.
Yeah.
I need to check that out. Boy, I tell you what, indie games are not just in popularity, but is a way for a person to make a living way more than it ever has in life.
We're open. We're open. It gets that way for us.
Yeah, that is all. That is awesome.
So, speaking of that, what is your, I guess, your daytime personas? Like, what are your day jobs?
This is what I do. I run open mic every Tuesday night, and I play music on the weekends.
Okay.
You
so
teach
during the day.
lessons. Do you
I
teach lessons as well?
guitar lessons and different. I teach a bunch of different instruments.
So you're living the life that you guys love, like day in, night, day in, day out.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we got
And
a
you said you
studio
did the
in South
corporate
City
thing for a
and
while.
so-
It's been so long since Richie's been on the episode that we were still called the Random Ass Podcast.
Yeah.
And Hayden, my youngest daughter, was playing. I think I
She was doing
asked you
ukulele.
about lessons. She'd started ukulele, and now we're the PC Bombcast, the Pop Culture Bombcast, and she doesn't play an instrument now. So it seems like a lifetime ago since you've been on the episode. So that's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
Feels
Feels like yesterday to me, man.
Well, no, it does. It still does to us too.
Yeah.
I mean,
You guys are the first interview we've had, like, of people, like, doing their own thing type stuff in a long time.
Yeah, well, and you can blame
COVID
the
didn't help.
pandemic for that too.
Yeah.
No, so let me
Kind
ask
of the
you
reason
that.
why I really got gung ho about it because we're down in Florida and then once they shut off April or whatever, I had like $3,500 worth of gigs, and I'm like, they're gonna start shutting everything down. It's time to really get 100% serious about this and stay-at-home job.
So
it's
yeah,
kinda
I should
nice.
say that is
Yeah.
so. The pandemic actually helped this game accelerate things.
Definitely, yeah. Way
So-
to channel creative energy into something where you don't have to all be in the same room doing it for a whole bunch of people.
I almost burned us out. The first 4 weeks of the pandemic, I released like 13 episodes, and then I was like, I gotta take a break. You know? But you talked about like this game's essentially a year and a half of programming we're doing. I mean, I gotta think though, in the normal world, that might have been 3 years, 2 years,
easily.
because of without the pandemic. That would have helped. That's awesome. So, how does going forward? How do you guys determine how to divide the time between new games, new projects? Getting this one out's obviously the priority at this point.
Right now, we're focused basically on this one, and it has really been that way for the last about year. Even though we've always got ideas going on, we've really been kind of doing one game developed at a time. You know, we might start a file and get in there and just do some testing or something for a new, different concept for a game. But as far as like the nuts and bolts and working out bugs and creating terrain and doing all the graphic design, it's one at a time.
So how does the Steam engine work? Is this like
The Steam store.
Steam
It's a
store?
platform.
Do you throw it out there?
Do you play Xbox? kinda like works
I'm more
like
of a
that.
PlayStation kind of guy, but
That's
like
same
as a
thing,
developer
PlayStation.
though, like do you
Okay.
Yeah,
just
how does
throw
it
it
work
out
for
there?
you
Does
there?
it just
Well, it requires you got to have a business. With Steam, you got to have a legit business or legit bank account. So we got that set up first, and then
We're
it's just
Sigonheart Games LLC.
it requires,
So do you like to get on the front page? Do you got to pay more?
Is there
Do you-
algorithms that
I'm not really sure about that. I think that depends how expected the game is, and how big a company you are. And
How many
Like,
people
how
are
do you
searching
get
for
traffic
it?
type
Well-
situation? Like how do you? I
we're
guess how
still
you
kind of new to it.
figuring it out. Okay,
We got the store up,
This
and
is our media blitz.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, the good news
Well, you're gonna
is
get like 20 to 30 people that are definitely gonna at
literally
least look at it.
tens of
Tens.
people.
we don't have the pre-order button working right now because we're going to release it in the minimal amount of time
Uh-huh.
that it takes.
Yeah.
We could say a month, and then 2 weeks you can pre-order it, but we just want to release it in 2 weeks. So you can add it to your wish list. So if you got a Steam account, you can go
Well,
ahead
we
and add it
are
to your wish
gonna
list.
blitz the shit out of the trailer.
Get it Friday morning?
Yeah,
I will just
well-
splash that thing everywhere.
And the good, like I said, the good news is, and that's we'll get more into that after we stop roll. But yeah, I mean, I'm super excited. I got to tell you, the good news is, and I do buy games on Steam. The last game I played on Steam, and I guess you asked early before we started rolling. You said, "Are you playing any games?" And I forget that sometimes I get on my laptop before the family awakes, or if I'm still staying up late. The last one I played was from Steam, and it was steampunk game. What's the famous steampunk game? God, why am I blanking on it? A former role playing game, and it's on. I love.
Killer's Attorney.
No, it's old, very old
Oh.
school.
Valheim?
Well, let me say this. What I love about Steam is I put a game in my wish list like that, and then randomly every other month or hey, the game you like's 30% off.
Yeah.
I click. I'm
Yeah.
going to buy it.
Got their scope.
No, just keep talking. I'll figure it out. But that's and it's a board game. It's a RPG. It's a board game, and I love and my love for those type of games goes back to, God blank. You know what? I drink too much because now I'm blanking on everything. But going back to just certain games that I've always loved since Steam's been out, though. My point that fell apart.
Took a while to get there.
Yeah, is board games. There is a massive subgenre of gaming that only loves playing board games on the PC, like myself. They're my favorite games.
Interesting.
Strategy games, turn-based games.
I still feel there's a target market out there. It's,
It's massive. I can tell you there's an iPad game I play that is a very simple board and card game system, kind of like not unlike a Magic the Gathering, but hasn't been supported in 3 years. I play the goddamn thing every day still.
Yeah.
My
Because
kids.
it takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes to play one round of game, so I play it every day because board and again, my house reflects it. Board games are my favorite thing, and having them on the computer that simulate the aspects of board games that I like without having to drag the goddamn thing out, without having to set up the pieces.
Find all your pieces.
It's
when
my
you have a
favorite
2-year-old.
thing in the
Yeah,
world.
gotcha.
We're
Yeah,
hoping there's a niche of people who used to get together and roll dice, could all get together and sit and play this one night instead, and it was sort of be a similar kind of a setting.
Yeah, like Steam, didn't they have like a little console type thing that you could buy, like where you could hook it up to your just main like TV and the living
Yeah, it
room?
was some kind of like port
Yeah.
thing they did. I know what you're
Like a
talking about.
Roku, but for video games?
Yeah, something like they had
I'm not
something
sure
like
if
that.
it lasted very long. If it's still going or not.
It'd be nice to see something like that because, like, sitting around, like I said, sitting around playing this game and chit chatting like we did right now is a lot of fun. And if you could do that, like on your
On
big
TV, couch
85-inch or 55-inch TV, it'd be awesome.
By the way, Shadowrun, the granddaddy of them all, it and Cyberpunk, the two granddaddies of all the steampunk slash RPG
Gotcha.
board games. Yeah, Shadowrun was, and that's the last one I played. Shadowrun was, and it was awesome.
Is that the isometric, like an isometric kind of camera view, like where it's overhead?
Yep,
Yeah.
like you're like 3/4 overhead.
Yeah,
So you see
isometric.
The, yeah. Is that what that is? That's
So we're doing third person and overhead.
Yeah, and I love all of
I love
that. It
too.
all works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love those, like Diablo.
Oh, and the other one,
That's
yeah.
like
Well,
that.
the other one, yeah. Diablo's still my favorite computer game of all time. I even
great.
have it on. I have it on the PlayStation, the last Diablo 3 version, the
Yeah.
deluxe package. Well, my daughter took the PlayStation in her room, so I had to buy it again on the Switch. So I played it like 4 or 5 times
Awesome.
through. The original game, the overhead view, that was still a turn-based game like that people don't know because they know the new modern version, Fallout. Fallout was
Sure.
an awesome turn-based
Mhm.
strategy,
I know
kind of very much a board game.
Okay.
That was, and now it's the third-person.
Is that Bethesda?
Bethesda
yeah,
games, yeah. I mean, as successful as a company you get right
I
now.
played all their like old school, like Morrowind, Oblivion, and
Oh
up
man,
to
yeah,
Skyrim.
yeah. Skyrim was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any other games similar to yours on your Steam library?
Yeah. Well,
not
I wanted
really.
to point that out. Your game library is pretty deep.
Yeah,
It's pretty extensive.
we got quite a few. I got quite a few here.
So let me ask you this. And I think this is for someone that's creative, and I think for the most part, 3 out of the 4 of us are very creative in this room.
We are.
You've
He's not lying. I'm
You've
pretty
got
basic.
you're designing this game. You're playing music. You guys, like Bender said, and I think you put it good, Bender. You're living.
Thanks, buddy.
You're living a life of stuff you love.
Mm-hmm.
But how much of that game library distracts you some days?
Honestly, as I get older, less and less because
Okay.
more I spend
depressing,
time.
isn't it?
I'm just like, well, once I start, I'm the developer now, so I think my
can see
attention
through all
span
of it.
kind of is not as long as it used to be on the.
And you're more
I was
focused.
like, well, I haven't made a lot of money on a video game now, so I'm like, I need to make money.
Yeah.
So like maybe
Yeah.
like I'll play more, but I actually do what I've been buying them is more R&D now. Like I kind of see where the AAA companies are, what are they doing with
Oh,
their
okay.
interfaces,
all
what are they
research.
doing with their
Yeah, that
collision
makes sense.
detection.
So you'll buy a game
So
to,
I see
to
them now and,
dissect it, so to
yeah,
speak.
and then just
You'd be
kinda,
surprised like how your mind opens up once you
Yeah.
start.
Well, it only takes
tinkering.
one person doing something
Yeah.
different to make an entire group of people say, "Fuck yeah," you
Yeah.
know. Well, yeah.
What is that Darkest Dungeon? That looks pretty.
So that's a
wild.
pretty cool 2D game. It was actually 2D. It's considered Dark Souls 2D. I don't think
I just like the art.
Yeah,
It is very
It's a
good
2D
art.
comic book,
Very
yeah.
nice
Really hard.
Mignola style
Yeah.
art, which is awesome.
Those
But-
crazy doctor's masks or whatever always.
I got one of those in my car.
Dark
Do you
Souls.
really?
It's like the cheesy one from Johnny Brock's, but I got one
Definitely
last
have
year.
This
worn
game was
that,
really fun.
when you walked across that ice cave.
Right.
And there's your Sekiro, the one I just bought.
Sekiro,
Oh,
man,
okay.
that's a hard game, man.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
don't like I don't like the fact that you can't customize your armor and stuff like Dark Souls.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it
See,
kinda-
I was always a plot-driven game guy. Like,
We're very much solo player guys.
yeah,
sure.
you know, and I didn't grow up in the online, but even that, like, I didn't do the sports games, and like, if it doesn't have a great story, I just can't get into
Gotcha.
it, and that's really why I like.
Story-driven.
But your role playing was the first time I've ever played anything like that.
Well,
I had a blast.
Let's go back to your game real quick too. Let's talk about. You said it can be a one-player game.
Yep.
Now, when you play at one player, are you playing against AI?
No,
Or is
just the
it
monsters.
You're just trying to
You just clear the board.
Clear the board and
try
go.
to kill
Okay.
kill
And
the
that
dragon.
came up with an algorithm for the AI. We just haven't decided if we want to implement it. We really want to focus on the player versus player. That's why we're spending our time on the online.
I want to ask you how hard that is to come up with the algorithm for AI.
It's pretty
One of the
deep.
more tricky ones.
I wrote like for this one. You just got to think about priorities. You know, what's the highest priority? The the lowest priority and then the indifferent.
Because you
for
want to
each
make it
character.
hard, but you want
So,
to make it achievable,
Right.
and you want to make it smart, but you want it to also be dumb.
A lot of it has to do with randomness too.
Yeah.
Like maybe
Yeah.
my character might win this time just because it randomly decided to go that way.
Yeah, boy,
So-
that's tough. That's I mean, that's when when I asked earlier about the Scott side of it, where he came up with the actual the rules of the world. Because anytime whether it's writing a comic book, whether it's making a movie, whether it's coming up with a game, you have to come up with parameters that fit the world, and that is
Yeah.
the hardest thing to do when
Yeah.
it comes to a board game. Maybe harder than all those things. Yeah, I mean that's awesome.
Especially without and fighting that urge to be making them up as you go along type thing. Like as a
Right.
kid, this is the rule.
Yeah.
This is my rules. It's my game.
Yeah, you don't want to play.
know?
You don't want to play Calvin ball in a
No,
video
Yeah.
game.
Scott's he's an IT guy, so he's very particular.
The way he
and
thinks
just,
his-
everything's the rules make a difference, even if it's one number difference, that has an effect.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's we don't. I mean, we could sit here and go all day, and I would very much play another round of game if you wanted, but we don't have to do it on the air.
Yeah.
Easiest way to find your game other than on Steam. Steam is the easiest way. Go to Steam, do Dragon Hunters, and you can put it on your
With an
wish
S.
list. Richie Darling.
RichieDarling.com, yeah.
Tim, how do they
That's-
find you?
Sigonheartgames.com.
Oh, you have both of those.
Spell that out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So Sigonheart, Sigon, and then the word heart, and then games.
There you go.
Sigonheartgames.com. It's a newer website. We're still under development, but it's there.
Oh, okay.
And is this picture that's up right now? This is what's gonna when people go
Yep.
to Steam and they'll find it. So if you're looking for it and you want to make sure you got the right one, and
Actually,
you
show
get
them the title
S.
card. Show them the other one.
The guy on the right looks
Joel,
sort of like
The Witcher.
Henry
Well, this one is the new
Cavill's The
title card,
Witcher.
isn't it?
Yeah. So a red background, but he's going to show us what the title card looks like.
It's
That one?
no, I'm thinking the all black
Sure.
one. Yeah, that one.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. It looks like
Okay.
so. What it looks like is a very old school. So when D&D releases a game or releases a module or a book, they come out with their standard copy, and then they come out with one that's a traditional old school copy. So this looks like that. It's a black background with red trim, and it
There's
has
a dragon.
And there's the dragon, and it very looks like a prestige style format of a D&D.
Who
book.
did art for this?
That's all you.
Yeah.
That's all you.
Nice.
I want to show you something when we're
Yeah,
done.
Jack
I did the
Walter's
dragon
over
and
here.
the Unity thing, but yeah, Richie did all the
But
other
that looks great, man. And so going back to what you originally said, that you wanted to be like that mid '90s style, which is great because it's not an 8-bit version; it's like a 32-bit version of a game, which is
Yeah.
what it is that mid '90s. It looks good. Well, I tell you what, I had a blast, and that's
Yeah.
Saigon Games,
Sigonheart.
Sigonheart.com,
Yep. Sigonheartgames.com.
SigonheartGames.com, RichieDarling.com. And that'll be the best place, and you can find them all for there. Now, I do want to ask too before we wrap up. Music. You gave us some CDs of music.
Yeah.
What's going on with that? Where's the music and stuff at?
Well, the music is also at RichieDarling.com, and you can find some of my catalog on Spotify.
And are you getting back out and playing shows anytime soon, or
No.
whenever it's possible? You're just waiting.
If you see the cover of the blues album there, that's the main band that I play with, and you can see the guys in the band are really old besides me and Tim.
Okay.
And so they're just not in a position where they can really
Okay,
be
okay.
in a crowded room. So blues band performances have been kind of put on hold, but hopefully towards the end of the summer we're going to get back.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's this other one? I love this.
This
by the
one
way.
is my my solo album, my first ever solo album. It's called Six Chickens in a Bathtub, and
Love
it's
it.
13 versions of that song, Six Chickens in a Bathtub, which is like it's kind of a Victorian esoteric sort of. So I have all these great songs, right? That I write.
Right.
And like I've written maybe 100 or more songs and published, and some of them are really deep with like really big vocabulary, language, and all this stuff. And there's one song which is a hefty groove with one lyric, Six Chickens in a Bathtub, and chicken sounds. And everyone in the world loves that song the best. And I was like, well, you know what? I'll just make the super single first
That's awesome.
solo
Do you,
recording of Six Chickens in a Bathtub with 13 versions. One of the versions has over 20 St. Louis musicians on it. Everybody
Nice.
gets a solo. Everybody
Awesome.
gets to sing a line.
Awesome.
Do you ever hear that song Tupac? I saw Tupac at McDonald's
Yep.
on the point.
Yeah.
I used to work with a guy who was the lead guitarist for that band. They were called Matt's Dad's Basement because that's where they practiced. And they wrote that song as a joke. and they were serious artists who really tried to make it, and that is the only song.
Some funny
that got
out
them
there.
anywhere.
There's so many stories like that from musicians that take it seriously, and mine's one of them. And that's I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna.
You gotta own it, man.
Go all in. 13 versions of it. I got a version with all bass guitars. I got a version with ukulele. I got a
That's
straight
awesome.
up like studio tight 3-minute version. You know.
Now, are you still doing stuff with the Beard and Mustache Club?
Not too much lately. No, they're still
They're still going
an
strong, I see
organization,
that, yeah.
and they still hold beatings and do the beard contest. I think right now everything's a little weird, but they're going to get.
And I can't remember from our episode. You were one of the founding members, right?
I was
the founding
original
member.
OG.
It's got to feel good though to create something, have that baby grow up, and be able to do it on its own.
It's
without
one
you.
of the best feelings.
That's
in
awesome.
the world.
That's awesome.
Sometimes I get a little sad because I'm not doing more with them, and I plan to probably in the future. But it was a lot of work.
How many irons you want in the fire?
Yeah. And how often do you guys get together for music?
Not much anymore.
Just because of the game.
My girlfriend and I play a lot, and I got my own band.
Oh, what's your band's called? Tell
Tim Perry Band.
Okay.
Yep.
How'd you come up with the
find
name?
that?
No, I'm
I
just
got tired of being in different names,
Yeah.
changing names all the time.
Are you guys on? Are you on Facebook or Spotify or anything?
You can go by timandmelmusic.com.
Okay.
timandmelmusic.com.
Yeah.
I'll as I edit this, I'll tag all that stuff
Yeah.
so people can check it out.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have anything else unless you have anything
That's
else.
been great.
Nothing, man.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. As somebody who never played a game like this before, I had a really good time, and I'd enjoy playing this. Like,
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a big endorsement because he does suck when it comes to like nerd. I can nerd
I read a lot
games.
of
I say
comic
that
books.
with
I watch a lot of movies.
He
but
does. I just can't
when
get
it
him to
comes to
go
other
full
stuff,
nerd. He's
nah.
I've told people this for years.
too attractive for the rest of
Yeah,
them.
he's too pretty. He's got too good a hair. I haven't had hair in 10 years, so we're good. So I appreciate you guys coming out, setting it up.
Yeah, man.
It was a good time. So
It's like a real role-playing game. It took about 20 minutes to set up.
Dragon Hunters on
April 9th.
Steam, April 9th. As you listen to this episode will come out on the 30th, I believe, whatever that Wednesday is. So April 9th, get it. Put it on your wish list. Don't wait. Don't be assholes. Just put it on your wish list.
So
You'll
like
know.
$19.99, you said?
$19.99.
$20, good $20. You'd spend more and take more time to set up a lesser game on a board
Yep.
game. So that's the way you should look at it. So all right, guys, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah,
Jeremy.
thanks.
Thanks, Bender. Appreciate
Hold
it.
on to your butts, guys.
Yeah. Oh, I almost didn't let you say it.
Yeah, that's all right. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm professional, sort of.